And call back at you from Supermicro, continuing our podcast on deploying a single node instance of SCC. We've completed the first phase of creating the SCC appliance with an Ubuntu operating system. We upgraded it. And then we have to make a decision now on what our storage service class is going to be. The two options are Ceph and NFS. So because of our environment and some of the requirements, our hardware that we have, we've decided to move forward with the simple configuration of NFS. So the next choice is, so what do you do? Like, do you create an NFS server on a physical server, a virtual machine? What infrastructure do you use? Do you use VMware? Do you use Proxmox? Those are all valid options, right? KVM hypervisor, Hyper-V. So all we need to do is have a host, whether it be a VM or a physical server of your choice. And of course, those are decisions that you make based on your hardware requirements and what you have to work with. So the first thing to bring magic into your data center is to create this NFS server, what we're choosing. And what we've done here is we've logged into this NFS server through PuTTY. So we call it PuTTY on some part of the globe. Other people call it PuTTY. It just depends on where you're on that side of the globe and how you pronounce it. It's really the same utility client that's been adopted in the industry. We've been using it for many years. There's likely other client terminal emulators out there to support SSH connections. So choose one that's comfortable that you're used to working with. I've been using this for a number of years, so I'm comfortable with it. So the first thing is we've logged in through root. Now let me talk about a little bit of root before we get into the mechanics of setting up the server. And that really is to do with, do I use root to log into the VM guest instance or your physical server? That's your choice, right? And what your security posture is internally within your enterprise. Ideally, probably not a best practice, but because we're in a lab setting, we're going to utilize it. We made changes into the sshd_config file to allow for permitting of root access to log in. Maybe you want to set users to the same super user group that root is. And when you need to, just turn on super user mode when you need to through sudo. So again, depends on your security posture or what your enterprise dictates of how you set this up. So we've logged in as root here, and the first thing is we want to do a sudo su. So you say, well, why do we want to do that, Kevin? Well, we really don't need to do that, but it's probably a best practice to make sure we're in privilege mode. And the other thing I like to do is tab down, and let's just clear the screen here, tab down a bit, and put spaces in between the sections that are what we're going to do. So we're going to start our setup of NFS directory, and we can put a comment there to show you that we're starting it. And then the first thing is we're going to set in an environment variable to point to that directory structure where we want NFS to be installed at within our directory structure. And we hit the environment variable there. And then the next thing is actually creating the directory structure. And we're going to do that, create the directory structure. And the next thing is we're going to give it ownership of nobody with this command here of the NFX directory and no group. And then we're going to also set the rights to it, this file structure. So with a chmod 77. And then we're going to issue the echo command here, bring some magic in and exporting stuff to the Etsy exports section, our file directory structure. And the next thing is we're going to do our install of NFS. And we put a comment in there to help you out. And then the first thing we're going to do is an apt update to just go out there and read the mirrors to make sure that we're up to date, and we are. And then the next thing is we're going to now attempt to install the NFS server itself. So we're going to issue this command, and then it goes out and it does its thing here. And it's going to take a couple of minutes here, probably a couple of seconds to complete. And so it's installing it. And at this point, you could take the option to keep the local version currently installed. And then it'll go out and do its thing here, get completed, and we're back to the root prompt. So the next thing we're going to do here is go ahead and simply type in the sys control command, system control command, to stop NFS and restart the daemon. We're going to stop it. And then at this point, we're going to export the file system, get it ready for us to be able to write into it. And then with our install, and then the next thing is we're going to step through this here and start it back up again. So we're done from an Ubuntu setup perspective within our environment. So let me just share with you the documentation here. So we went through these particular steps. If you're running under RHEL, we've provided a documentation here of how you would set up if you're running a CentOS or RHEL environment that you're going to host for NFS. So very much documented here, helps you basically quickly go through the install guide and be able to set up your NFS server. So that is our completion of the NFS server. I'm going to stop here and then bring up another video clip that really focuses now on the install. We can move forward. We had a couple of still pre-flight checks we need to do prior to kicking off the installation. So again, bid you a great day. Thanks for joining today. We'll see you on the other side.